everyone, thanks for listening to the Sergio Nazzaro podcast. I'm Sergio Nazzaro, the founder and CEO of, my life. I've grown up here in Colorado and I've decided to stay put as I continue to pursue being an entrepreneur and growing my business as a real estate agent. Prior to this, I graduated from the United States Air Force Academy and served my country for 11 years before becoming a CrossFit coach. I have a lovely wife, Lizzie, and we are in the process of growing our family and living here in the Swans Lake neighborhood. For the last 2 years, I've committed to documenting my process in both my personal and professional life as a means of journaling, and hopefully helping others along the way. So listen in as I share the next chapter of my story. We are back. Well, I'm back. Guess it's just me, episode 10. It's been a little while though because the holidays got in the way. Things kind of got in the way. Work kind of took a quick turn to the right, got pretty busy, but we are back. Episode 10. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate you being patient. We are in the middle of December, and hands down, this is my favorite time of the year. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You got the Christmas lights up. You got the Christmas music going on. You got the hustle and bustle in the mall. You got people throwing Christmas parties. You have people getting drunk at Christmas parties and saying dumb shit they shouldn't say. It's just fantastic all around. But growing up, like my favorite day of the year, and it is the same way till this day, is Christmas Eve. And the reason Christmas Eve is just like, it holds this near and dear spot in my heart, is because it is the crescendo of like the entire year. Like maybe just starting in September, like when the weather starts to cool, football starts, running through October with Halloween, pumpkins, pumpkin spice lattes, because your boy's basic from time to time. And then, Thanksgiving, which is a blast. And then it comes to Christmas. And the reason I love Christmas Eve is because it is the peak of everything that's about to happen. Like your excitement level is at its top. Maybe your anxiety is up there with it as well, but everything is culminating in this moment, this evening, when you get to celebrate. When I get to celebrate with the people I love, doing the things that I love, cooking food, drinking, playing games, hanging out. Because it all leads to that moment. And I call it the Christmas Eve effect. Because I get the same feeling when I go on vacation. Like that moment when you land and you touch down and everything's fresh and you're about to check into the hotel, right before the vacation truly begins, there's like this moment. And it's just like, we are here. And I think that's like one of the best examples of how fun the journey can be instead of just the destination. Like the destination in this example is Christmas Day, and Christmas Day is a blast. But to me, after you open the Christmas present, it's just another day where you're just hanging out, doing shit, right? Like, yeah, you get to hang out, but like the glitter, the excitement is gone, And don't even get me started about the day after Christmas. That's the worst fucking day of the year. Like, that's when I'm probably at my saddest. But Christmas Eve, the journey to that, all the excitement along the way, the fun along the way, that's the journey. And that's what we get in our life too. Like, to draw a correlation to kind of land this Christmas Eve plane, is the journey is always so much more fun than the destination. And that is not to say I don't enjoy Christmas Day, not to say that I don't enjoy having a nice cup of coffee and some cinnamon rolls made by Lizzie on Christmas morning and opening presents and like watching my family and my friends like get their presents and enjoy it. But that, oh man, you want to talk about a pressure cooker on Christmas Eve, everything just being right there, that's the journey. And I think when we can start to really enjoy the journey, because I do such a good job at, during the holidays of like really just being present and in the moment and enjoying the holidays, the spirit of it all. When we can enjoy that journey, I think we realize that the destination is just a byproduct of it. We'll get there. Because the majority of the time that we spend is in the journey. The destination happens like that and then it's over. The journey, we spend like 99% of our time in the journey. So the moment that we can transition and switch our thoughts around the journey to being something of excitement and enjoying it, we enjoy the majority of our lives. I'm not saying that it's all great. It's not saying I love standing in lines, hearing some lady scream at some customer service rep in the line about her Christmas presents. I'm not saying that part's great, but the majority of it is. It's just a quick shift. And if I can do it in December, I sure as shit can do it the rest of the year. You know, one of my favorite things I've been doing is like coming down in the morning and turning all the Christmas lights on. Turn the Christmas tree on, turn this the garland and the lights around the mantle on, right? The home is just decorated to a T. It looked like Buddy the Elf came in, threw up, and left. Left all these decorations there. But in the morning, I like to sit there in the fire in front of the fire before I go to the gym. I like to reflect, you know, kind of like ground myself for the day. And this week, I just started to reflect back on a moment during my deployment where it was a really hard time. You know, it was one of my first really missions out on my deployment. And I was out at this forward operating base. It was like in the middle of the night, and I was trying to find my way back down to the landing zone to get picked up by a Black Hawk helicopter. And inevitably, I turned the wrong corner, and I ended up in the local national camp. And in that moment, I saw this local national get pulled out of his tent by a bunch of other guys. They started beating him up, and they ended up killing him. And I watched it right in front of me. Like, that was tough. And I got on the helicopter, and I left. But that moment of inaction haunted me for years. Now I can reflect back on it and realize like my fear in that moment definitely served me in a great way. I'm here talking to you because probably of the decision I made in that moment. But that is not to say that I didn't feel guilt, shame, or anything else around that. But what it taught me is that fear can be a persuasive deterrent. It can convince you not to do what is right in any given moment. But you can learn from that too. I learned from that mistake. And as I started to live my life now on the back end of really processing that and working through it, I try to operate differently. Now, our past does not get to dictate our future. My past actions don't get to dictate my future. They can if I choose them to allow to, but I also get to choose what part of the narrative I want to bring into the future. And so the narrative that I brought from that story I just sent you, it's in your mailbox, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. The narrative that I brought into the future is that I don't let fear control my life. I don't let fear prevent me from doing things. And I've reflected back on moments in my life where I was really afraid and how I handled that. And a lot of those I'm really, really proud of, especially post my deployment. But pre my deployment, there was moments where I was scared to do something and I didn't do it. Maybe I didn't ask out the girl. Maybe I didn't take the chance at a job. Maybe I didn't try to, a new activity because I was scared. And it's crazy to think of all the things that I've missed out on because I let fear run the show. But what I've accomplished now is that I try to envision what I want in my future. Because what we've accomplished in the past is purely what we've envisioned in the past, right? Whatever you've accomplished up to this day is purely what you have previously envisioned your life looking like and what happened in your life. Not everything, but a lot of it. What if we could control what the future looks like by envisioning what we want it to look like? That's why I go through these exercises all the time at the end of the year and on a quarterly basis. Like, what do I want the next 90 days of my life to look like? What do I want the next year of my life to look like? The next 3 years? What is my lifelong purpose? Like, what does my perfect life look like? And I'm not super woo-woo. Like, I'm not saying like I can just manifest the shit out of anything, because if I could, I wouldn't be recording this podcast on my video camera by myself. I'd probably have a film crew. But what I am saying is that where I am right now is a vision and is a dream that I put together years ago. And so as I look into my future, I'm trying to envision exactly what I want that to look like. And there's some gray parts, and that's great, right? I get to fill in that along the way. That's the journey. But I know what I want it to feel like. I know what I want it to look like. And now I've planted that seed. And now it is my job to nurture that seed and protect that seed, because there's going to be plenty of people who are going to tell me that those dreams are too ambitious, or that I can never do it, or they're going to give me every reason why they couldn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know who I am, just like I don't know who you are. You don't know what I'm capable of. And I'm not here to prove you wrong. I'm here to live out the vision that I have for my life. And I hope that in doing that, it inspires people to do the exact same thing. And I've seen that in real time. Like I met with a friend yesterday for lunch, and he's going through some really tough times. And we hadn't talked in a while, but we met up, had a really great lunch, really great conversation. And one of the things that he said when I was like, hey man, how you doing? Because I didn't know what was going on, but I said, hey man, how you doing? He goes, I'm the best I've ever been and the worst I've ever been. And I was like, good for you. He's living in the gray. I used to be so black and white. It's either this or that. And life is in the gray. And when he said that, what I heard was, you can experience multiple emotions, multiple feelings at the same time. You can be happy about part of your life and sad about others. You can be content with parts of your life and ambitious as hell to want to fight for other parts of your life. And when you can make the container and the space for both of those, and you can live in both of those and experience both of those fully, man, like you really get to know a lot about yourself. Because the acceptance of life and situations, that's a real superpower, because all of these things are impermanent. If you're living the highest of highs right now, that isn't permanent. If you're down in the fucking gutter, that isn't permanent. Things can change in an instant. And the moment that we can sort of detach ourselves from where we are at, from the outcome, the moment that we can realize that there is duality in things that we like, and I've talked about this before, and we don't place meaning on either one of those. The moment that we can accept what is and where we are, I'm telling you, like, you will have a superpower. The best example I can give you is I've detached myself from Lizzie. I've told her this. And what do I mean by that? She's allowed to leave this relationship at any given moment. She can walk out the door. She can look me in the eye, tell me we're done, and walk out the door. I'd be sad. I'd be broken. I would survive. Me not grasping that relationship with a full fist allows me to experience the relationship fully. Because if I'm grasping it and I'm trying to control it, I don't allow her to be her. And I don't allow me to be me. And so being able to detach from something, the full outcome, and just accept what is, creates a superpower. Now, yesterday, when he started to tell me about the things that was going on in his life, there's a lot of darkness there. Hell, I have a lot of darkness in my life, things that I'm not ready to share with y'all yet. I will, but not yet. And the funny thing about darkness is it can be a curse, or it cannot be. And the way I think about it is you can either curse the darkness, or you can light a fucking candle. And you can look for the positive in there, and you can search for it, and you can work for it. And that is not easy, but it's worth it. And I'm not saying be positive for the sake of being positive. I am saying look for positive things in dark situations. Light your candle and see what you can find. Feels good to be back on this podcast. Feels really good to be back. I'm excited for the rest of this year. I'm excited for 2022. I have a lot of things in store for all of y'all. Listen, if you found this helpful, or if you think somebody else would enjoy this, send it to them. Not only would it mean a lot to me, but I'm sure that if you sent it to them with, hey, I thought about you, I think you might like this, I'm sure they would be ecstatic as well. Now, if you have 15, if you listen to this, and you got a few minutes, it would mean the world to me if you could just go leave me a quick review and maybe leave a comment, right? That definitely helps me out trying to grow this thing. I don't really know what that looks like, but I do know that my fate is mostly in my hands, but I got to give a little bit of it to y'all. I hope you have a fantastic week. Can't wait to talk to you guys next. And until next time, take care.